She's an award-winning YouTuber and best-selling author obsessed with helping you go after the life you want.
I like it.
Join her as she seeks out the stories and strategies
Give me every little detail.
of extraordinary people who found success.
I'm going to get emotional. Oh my God.
Welcome to Detail Therapy with Amy Landino.
Holy crap. Good morning, good life. Detail therapy. I don't even remember how to do this. This is so weird. I say that, but I'm going to be completely and utterly honest with you. I have been waiting for this moment for so long. Let me tell you, while I've been away on vacation, I wasn't thinking about YouTube. I was all up on Instagram, but just like doing it for the gram. It was not where my heart was. The whole time I was gone, I was like, I just wish I could talk to detail therapy so much. I just feel like I have so much to say and I have so many different things going on in my brain. And I know that we have a really special connection here because you just kind of get to tune in for those ideas and those ways of bettering yourself and those things that I'm going through. And so I'm so grateful for you. I want to say that to kick this show off. I'm deeply grateful for the amazing people who listen to this show and you let me take such a long break with absolutely no fuss and are still here to tune in today. I'm so deeply grateful for you. I have missed you so much. For those of you who are new to the show, my name is Amy Landino. I will be your host. I'm a success coach and founder of Gatlu House, a resource dedicated to helping you go after the life you want. You can see all the deets about what we do and all of our work and the show notes for this podcast as easily as going to detailtherapy.online. Okay, we have so much to get into. First of all, vacay was great. Thanks for asking. If you weren't following Ashmatastic on Instagram, you missed my one really, I don't know. I want to call it my one and only influencer campaign. I know that sounds weird to a lot of people. I don't consider myself an influencer, but when I was running around Italy for a month, taking photos of myself in all the various outfits that I had to bring with me, that felt very influencery and I enjoyed it. And I kind of just exerted that energy and I don't really want to do it anymore. I'm like, okay, that was fun. Glad that's over. Back to work, honey. Anyway, but it was a lot of fun. I ate so much pasta, drank the wine, the whole thing. But you know what? I have to be completely honest about that as well. It was definitely a break. I sold my house right before, I keep saying that, my husband and I sold our house, obviously. We own it together. We sold our house and it just kind of felt like the rug was ripped out underneath us. We didn't have a place to go yet. And I was like, well, if I don't have somewhere to live, then let's just go do something. And that's really what inspired the trip. But I knew by doing that, this trip is not one of those things where you just lay around and it's easy all the time, right? I'm not going to say Italy is hard, but traveling Italy is work. I will say that. So I really made it very easy for me to miss my day-to-day, miss my work, miss coming back here because it had me all kinds of out of sorts. So you know what I mean when you need to take a vacation after the vacation? I did that. I slept for a week at my parents' house when we got back from Italy so that I would be 1,000% back at the office. And so here we are. The only reason why this podcast hasn't come out sooner is because I lost my microphone. So you can imagine, I'm not kidding you guys. I was so excited to podcast as soon as I got back to fully brief you. And then I couldn't find my microphone. It was a bit tragic. I found it. Moving issues, obviously, just got lost in the shuffle a little bit, but we're here. We are so bounced back. If you want to know kind of what I've done to set myself up for success in that regard, a little bit more detail, you're going to want to check out the first video that I posted when I got back to work. It's called, Getting Back to Work, How I Bounced Back, basically. So you can check that out at youtube.com/AmyTV. All right. So one of the things I wanted to mention before we get into some fire content is that I have kind of teased this before in the past, that detail therapy to me is just this special little playing ground for us to talk and to exchange ideas and to ponder self-development together. But there's still quite a little bit of work that goes into me creating every single episode. And I don't mean that it shouldn't be work, because I want you to get the most amount of value possible out of each and every episode. If you spend this time with me, I want it to be very much worth your while, worth your commute, worth your run, worth that energy that you're listening. But what I actually would like to do is just make the barrier to entry a bit more easygoing. Sometimes interviews go really, really long, and you might see an episode and go, you know what? I don't know that I have time for that today, maybe later. And that's totally possible, and that later usually will come, and that's all fine and good. Especially if you were like, oh, I missed detail therapy, you might have caught up on some episodes while I was gone. But I also think every once in a while, I just have an idea and I just want to tell you, and I don't want to have to sit down and completely structure out this line by line perfect episode for you. I just want to jump on the mic and I just want to deliver. So that made me think, maybe I just get on here for a few minutes. This episode's not going to be long today, if I can help it. I really did miss you though, so I could. But I want to be able to just go, you know what? I just want to say something. And if it's only 15 minutes, I want to get it out to you. And then if that happens 2 or 3 times a week, then cool. If it works for you, tune into all of them. If it doesn't work for you, tune into the one that sounds like the right fit for you. So I hope that you'll go on this journey. We are officially in season 7 of Detail Therapy. We're still going to have some amazing guests on. We're still going to have really important experts that will show us the way to going after the life that we want. I don't know everything. I love being the connector for you, but I also love sharing my own experience and sharing ideas so that we can continue a conversation together. And I'm going to do everything in my power to make that happen more often, to bring you more value, to bring you more happiness and more practicality of how you can make these things happen. I'm going to do everything in my power to make that happen. So I hope you like the sound of this. If you do, or if you have other ideas, if you have something on your mind, please head over to our Instagram. It's @DetailsPodcast. Just comment to your heart's content, whether it's in a poll or in a comment section on a post, a DM. Kylie, my lovely social media manager, is paying attention to everything that you're saying over there, and we are listening so that we continue to make this a great experience for you. So please feel free to do that at any time. Here is what is on my mind today. I've recently come to the realization of something that I was putting up as a restraint or a limitation in my own mind that maybe you have been doing as well, and I'd like to bring it to your attention. You know how you watch shows or you just hear people talking about other people and you just say oh, people don't change. Change isn't really possible. People don't actually change. And I've actually said in the past, once you know more about who you are, once you do that self-discovery, lean into it so that you can actually work with it. And a lot of times that's a great idea because you stop going against the grain. However, something that I'm coming to grips with right now is that this whole people don't change thing is absolutely 1000% false. I think I knew that to a certain degree, right? We have those aha moments where we're suddenly we start eating healthy and decide to go on a fitness kick and then lose a bunch of weight, right? That takes drastic change. That takes a huge mindset shift. We go through moments where we're why do I have a full-time job? I don't want to build someone else's dream anymore. I want to build my dream. And then snap, there's a change. And you suddenly become an entrepreneur and suddenly you've been doing this thing for 12 years and you can't believe where the time went. Things change. People change. And I think one of the reasons why this limitation is sneaky in that we still allow it to be true because we don't want to be disappointed about other people. We want to say, you know what, people don't change, so I'm not going to have these high expectations of other people. I'm not going to think that they're going to do this or change this or become whatever I think they should be. That's good. I think that's a good space to be in. However, when we think that too hard about others, or about outside circumstances and don't give that same grace to ourselves, that's where the challenge is. So what if you could change? What if there was something about you that genuinely, it has nothing to do with what anyone else is thinking about you. It has nothing to do with anything anyone's ever said to you. It's just something that's bugging you about yourself, about the way you conduct yourself, about something you do every day. What if that change is completely and totally possible? Just give yourself that thought for a moment. Like, okay, I think change is possible. For instance, if you were listening to Good Morning, Good Life on audio or reading the book and you were thinking, I don't wake up early. I don't do this whole wake up early thing. That's just not who I am. Okay. Or what if it were? And the flip side, what if you've been waking up super duper early and for whatever reason you just keep getting tired in the middle of the day, even though this is absolutely your habit? What if you didn't anymore? What if you changed? Would it be better? Would it not be better? Would it actually work out okay? Here's what I want you to ask yourself. What would I do if I were a grown-up version of who I was yesterday? You know how we ask each other, what do you want to be when you grow up? And now that we're older, it's a very funny joke. Like, what do you want to be when you grow up, honey? Because have you gotten there yet? We don't know. It's kind of like I ask myself that. What do I want to be when I grow up? Because I don't think I'm there yet. Okay, what if you were a grown-up version of yourself right now? How would you be different than yesterday? And some of the things that I realized about me and what I would change is what made me want to ask you this question today too. There are things that I do that have been working for a really long time. And then suddenly they stopped working. Do you know what I mean? And you know what I mean when you just keep doing that thing because it's who you are and you know it has worked before and it will continue to work, but it's not continuing to work and you're refusing to acknowledge it's not continuing to work. That might be something that you wouldn't do as a grown-up version of yourself anymore. Again, guys, using the grown-up thing like very arbitrarily here. If I were all grown up, I would look at what was done yesterday and how I held myself to a certain standard yesterday that absolutely no one else noticed except for me, and recognized that it did nothing but add stress to me. It did nothing that it was actually supposed to do for me. It is not accumulating over time to what it used to do for me. So I just want you to consider the idea that you are a human who is growing every single day. And there's a great possibility that something that has always worked for you isn't working anymore. And you've graduated from the school of that with flying colors. What is that you're no longer going to do because, you know what? You've moved beyond it. I think this is such a great conversation to have because there are going to be things that pop up and go, okay, well, here's an idea. And then you know what? That might not be the answer to this question. And that's okay. It's about having the conversation with yourself. It's about that self-discovery. It's about, again, leaning into who you are today, not who you were 20 years ago. If you're grown up from 20 years ago, if you're grown up from 10 or from 5 minutes ago, how will you be different? How will you have graduated? How will you have grown up from that moment? And I think when we ask these things and we start to learn these things and we go, okay, fine, I'm just going to try something new. You know why? Because I'm a human that can change. I'm going to do that. Then we realize things are, okay, well, this is adding a shift. This is adding a shift, okay? Shifts sometimes need to be communicated. This is where we need to practice communicating our needs. And I'm going to throw something at you that might hurt a little bit. I'm a little concerned about the word boundaries I think it's a fabulous word. I think it's so emulative of what we are all searching for. We say we want balance. What we're actually asking for is boundaries. However, you do not need to communicate to someone that you are setting a boundary, okay? Nobody's interested in hearing those words. That is a very aggressive way of putting it. But if we practice communicating those boundaries that we need, we can say, when this door is shut, I really need you to believe that that is the time I need to be alone, and I'll probably be out in 30 minutes. If I'm not, wait longer. If I am, we'll move on to the next thing. You deserve to be completely immersed and focused on the thing that you're doing at any given time. It will be better for it. You will not get that if you do not communicate what your boundaries are. Not saying, okay, hi, I'm going to set a boundary here. Okay, that's some Bachelor stuff. I just heard that on reality TV the other day, and I was like, I hope people don't say that in real life. Okay, we're going to communicate those boundaries, and then we're going to follow through. And then when it doesn't work for us anymore, we're going to move on. And then when someone's like, I thought you were doing this, you know what? Didn't work out. I'm trying this instead. I'm moving forward. I can change. I can become a more grown-up version of myself. I don't need to follow the rules of yesterday. I hope that's helpful for you, because that's been very, very, very helpful for me. And I just thought it was kind of a good way to start, because I think 2021 is so, like, I don't know, what do you call it? The afterbreath of 2020? It's like, that's what it feels like to me. I don't know. It's so weird, and changes are happening. How have you not changed in the last 18 months? How has everyone not changed in some way? We're allowed to. All right. Like I said, shorter episode. I did my best. I really just wanted to come out with a quick banger for you. One thing I did want to mention, if you're listening to this in real time, on Tuesday, August 31st, I'm going to be doing a fun little event, a live event, if you will. It's actually a free training, and it is called Build Your Empire. And this is something I'm always so excited about teaching other people. How do you build your empire? And everybody's empire looks different. It doesn't have to be what someone else's is. You're going to build your own building, and you're going to build it your way. But how do you do that? How do you take control of who you are, what you do on the day-to-day, how you make money, diversifying your revenue streams, and how you serve the world? That is what we want to talk about, specifically in the area of having a personal brand. What does that actually mean? How do we make that a tangible thing that is useful? What are the ways that it's useful? And then how do we monetize it? I hope you'll join me. It is in the afternoon, 2:00 Eastern Time on Tuesday, August 31st. Hope you'll join. The link is in the show notes. That's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. Remember, subscribe for good vibes, kiss the ones you love, and go after the life you want. It's so good to be back. See you on the next one. Cheers.